Welcome to the XANGO Products Call. Today is Thursday, June the 6th. We're grateful for everybody who's joined us, the thousands of XANGO faithful who have called in to listen, and their friends and neighbors and family who are here to learn more about some phenomenal stuff. My name is Dave Webb. I am honored to represent XANGO in the capacity of Vice President of Communications. We're thrilled to have all of you on this call, and it's available for recording. So I'm looking at the beautiful eyes around the table. We are joined by Clifford, Adam, Kelly, Jennifer, and David, and we are ready to make this a great products call, power-packed with information the next 4.5 hours. I'm totally kidding. It'll just feel like that. It's really only 30 minutes, and the information you get will be 4.5 hours worth. I didn't mean it would feel long and drawn out. We are excited today to have a few people with us, but we want to start with some great feedback from one of our great distributors, one of my favorite people, not even just because he's in XANGO, but he's just a great guy. George Kennedy, are you on the line?
I am, David. How are you?
Terrific. Thanks for being with us. Tell us a little something.
Well, I wanted to share something that happened to me. I think it was late September 2011. I went in for my annual physical, and my doctor told me that I had a somewhat elevated PSA count, and he was in the process of making certain recommendations. And I said, well, I have another suggestion. I says, the company that I'm with, and he's well familiar with XANGO, and I said, they're going to launch a new product, I think around the 1st of October. It's called Precise for Men's Health. And what I would prefer to do is try that for 90 days. Then we'll take another blood test and see where we are. So I was on Precise for exactly 89 days. I went back in. We took another blood test. And lo and behold, my PSA count was back to normal. And I was completely satisfied with that. Of course, he wanted to attribute it to what he called a fluke. I said, look, you know, I'm a health consumer. I believe in results. As far as I'm concerned, this product has something to do with it, and I'm not in the business of trying to validate whether your assumptions are false or otherwise. So I was perfectly content with the outcome, and I've been using Precise for Men's Health every day since.
Wow.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a great story to stick to, George. Thanks for sharing that, and thanks for that great experience and the way you tell it. That was a nice 45-second, 1-minute legal, absolutely acceptable from the legal eyes and ears around the table. So thanks, George, for that. That's a great introduction to our topic for the day, which we're calling, not just because Father's Day is coming up very quickly, and I hope my wife is listening and is remembering all the gifts that I have left hints about around the house, but we're talking about men's health, keeping the men in our lives healthy and happy, and hopefully the men on the call will be taking care of themselves. Also, the women on the call, paying attention to the men that obviously need a lot of help. Let's just call it like it is, ladies. But to get us started talking about the importance of men's health, specifically prostate health, and I'm saying that without even changing color or passing out, we're going to talk about some real stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen of this call, it is my thrill and privilege to be able to introduce to you one of XANGO's favorites. Now, we have a good collection of favorites, but seriously, this guy is so favorite, he even named himself after some of the founders. David Morton is here, one of our, just the greatest personality, I think, that we have in the medical field, but he also has legitimate content, so that's the double whammy. David, how are you?
I'm wonderful, David. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you for being here today, and we know that your ability to hold an audience is unparalleled.
For the next 4.5 hours.
Whatever it feels comfortable to you, we will hear you all day long.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's news for me, too, for 4.5 hours. If you give me a microphone, I could do it, too. That's the scary thing. So I want to talk about something that everyone talks about every day, prostates. So, or at least talk about men's health. And so I love this quote that I heard, that the most important prostate is the one, gentlemen, you're sitting on. Ladies, it's the one that's sitting beside you. So prostates are, it's a gland that a lot of people have heard about. They just don't really know where it is or what it is. So most people know about, and gentlemen talking to you directly, know that you have a bladder. Now your bladder is this bag that sits right behind that pubis bone that you have in your pelvis, and it fills with urine, and when you have to go potty, it expands, puts pressure down, and you've got this tiny little sphincter muscle that relaxes, and you then urinate in a toilet, bush, wherever you're going to be. Now, right below that bladder, there is this gland about the size of a walnut, and this walnut-sized gland, called the prostate, surrounds the most proximal portion of the urethra. The urethra is a tube that goes from your bladder to the outside of the world. Now, that prostate gland surrounds the most proximal part of the urethra that drains your bladder. Then, distal to that prostate gland, the penis surrounds the urethra. And there's the plumbing. And so one of the functions of that prostate gland is it's a reproductive organ or gland. It helps with reproductive health and to help keep basically sperm alive during that fun part of life. Now,
where were you when I was 14 years old?
To give this wonderful
you got
example.
it all. This is awesome.
So it's this wonderful gland that we've got. Now, what happens then is something that my dad told me when I was a kid that I never understood. You know, there's a lot of things our parents tell us when we're younger, and we get older, you look back and say, now I get it. I remember going camping. My dad used to always say, well, I can't pee with the Boy Scouts anymore. And I never understood that. I never got it. I'm like, well, I guess you just can't pee in the forest like the rest of us. We'd run and pee and go back, and we'd be canoeing and fishing and that. What I finally understood when I hit 40 is that, it takes a little bit longer to urinate than it did when I was, 11 years old and running out with the Scouts. And what happens then is, gentlemen, as you get closer to 40, and then each succeeding year after that, is that prostate gland slightly enlarges. And it's a benign process. A benign means it's not harmful. So they call this benign prostatic hypertrophy. Or BPH, whenever you hear that acronym. And what that means is the prostate's getting slightly bigger. And as a result, remember how I said that urethra, the tube that drains the bladder to the outside world, gets kind of a little bit constricted, makes it a little bit more difficult to urinate. And so around the age of 40, some of the changes that occur in prostate, if it's left unchecked in this BPH, is that you have some problems in urinating, or it just takes a little bit longer, or it's a little bit slower, or you don't even kind of feel like your bladder's completely empty, or it's harder to start urinating, or, I'm using the word urinating a lot, my apologies, and or that you sometimes have this urgency to urinate more, and sometimes you just get up more in the middle of the night. So I want to mention that this is, again, it's a benign process that occurs. And with anything, though, benign in the body, there is a potential that it could go, if unchecked, it can become more problematic. This is why, gentlemen, we're encouraged after the age of 40 to start thinking about getting that very comfortable prostate check the next time you go see your doctor. And so some of the things that what I'd like to talk about today are some of the natural products that can help especially gentlemen over the age of 40 in their prostate health. So we'll talk about this product, this Precise, which is the term Precise meaning that each one should be on a daily multivitamin supplement like 365. Precise is now, I like this term because it's honing in on some specific other vitamins, mineral supplements to help in a specific area. And gentlemen, in our case today, our prostate gland and its help in sexual function and so forth. So what are the key ingredients? What are the players in this baseball team, per se, of Precise Men's Health? Well, one of them is zinc. Now, zinc is this element that's a very small element that we need actually just a little bit of in our diet and supplementing, but most of us don't have enough. And so a lot of studies done on the use of zinc have demonstrated that it's helpful in reducing the size of bladders or controlling the size of a bladder. And that men who have the zinc in their diet, it helps with the sexual function. So as I mentioned, that urethra that transports urine from the bladder out, well, the urethra's got two functions. So one of the things I like to think of is that on a daily basis, a number of times a day, depending how hydrated you are, you're going to urinate. And the prostate gland in a hypertrophied state can minimize, and you get dribbling and hard to start urinating and so forth. It also, though, serves as the same road where semen travels. Sorry, there's another very comfortable word.
Well, the ladies around the table are remarkably calm.
So what happens then is in reproductive health, it also serves as the pathway for sperm. And so sexual impotence is one of the problems that occurs with men with BPH. And so studies have demonstrated that men who are on zinc supplements and or get sufficient amount from their diets have far fewer problems in sexual health than those who don't. Now, a couple of things about zinc that's important. So even I mentioned briefly, you don't need a whole lot, like 11 milligrams for most adult males and 8 milligrams for females to have in a day. But close to, and the statistics vary, but between 60 and 70% of men do not get sufficient amounts of zinc in their diet. And even some studies have shown that poor, cheaper zinc supplements are not helpful either. They just don't have a bioavailability that works. And so it's important that we get it. It's also very unique in that it's one of the elements that we need to have every day because our body does not have organs or glands to store it. Now, this is important in the sense that if you've got carbohydrates or fats, we actually have reservoirs of cells in the body that will serve as like a bank, and you can store it there and in times of need make a withdrawal. Zinc's not one of those. We have no banks within our bodies or cells or glands that will store it. So it's something you need to have every single day. And it's necessary for reproductive health, it's necessary for urinary health, and also down to just sperm formation, motility, and so forth. So it's a very important supplement in men's health, and it's one of the key targets in the body for zinc function. Our sources, you get it in, I'm going to mention this part because of some people's diet. For animal proteins, red meats, poultries, they're a high concentration of zinc. You get it in some beans and nuts and some seafoods as well, oysters and crabs. Vegetarians have this is one of those trace elements that's very difficult for people who are vegetarians and vegans who are not paying attention to this, that they can become deficient in zinc. And so a good supplement is recommended. Next one is saw palmetto. Now, saw palmetto is something that this isn't new with regards to men's health, and anyone who's been studying prostate glands recognize saw palmetto is high on the list. It used to be in the pharmacopoeia back when the pharmacopoeia really listed a lot of herbs in that, and back in the early 1900s it was one of the main ones with regards to prostate health. And so it helps decrease the symptoms associated with enlarged prostates. And it works best in combination with zinc. Think of zinc like Batman, and think of saw palmetto as Robin, or Frodo and Sam, or whoever the two teams you want to put inside there. They work very well together. They have a synergistic relationship. It's also used for prostatitis, like a prostate infection or inflammation. Saw palmetto is also really good for that as well. It's demonstrated that it really helps with the regulation of the hormones to help balance and give a strong prostate health. So there's two, zinc, saw palmetto. Next one is African pygeum or pygeum, depending on who, tomato or tomato. And this also helps in BPH a lot, benign prostatic hypertrophy. So this is a tree that grows in South Africa primarily at high altitudes. It can go up to 120 feet, 150 feet at times, and it has this oil. And this oil has been demonstrated to be very good in helping lower inflammatory compounds produced by that prostate gland and helping to reduce swelling and so forth. And so this oil is primarily, it's like a sterol, and it's been demonstrated in numerous studies to show that it helps in, again, prostate health. Okay, so we're starting to see this great collection of team members in this reproductive health. So lycopene is the next one. Okay, lycopene's our next one. And so lycopene, this is something that if you haven't heard of before, most people have heard of carotene. Now there's two words in health, two buzzwords in health, carotene and keratin. Carotene, spelled with a C, is a photosynthetic pigment that gives us bright color, and most people know because it's what gives the bright orange color in carrots. Keratin, with a K, is a structural protein you find in your epidermis, your fingernails, and hair, and it's more for structure and waterproofing and so forth in the epidermis. So two different things. So carotene is what I'm talking about today. Now, carotene describes this class of photosynthetic pigments, one of which is called lycopene. And these are agents that are produced only in plants and not in animals. And they're colored. And this is the one thing that most people know about antioxidants if you don't. The brighter the color, the better the antioxidant. And this is why you take a look at carrots and you look at tomatoes. These bright fruits and vegetables are high in these photosynthetic agents, and they're very strong antioxidants. Now, lycopene gets its name from basically tomatoes. It's what gives tomatoes that bright red, beautiful appearance. Now, there's this inverse correlation with lycopene in the diet or supplementation and prostate problems. Now, what I mean by inverse relationship is this. Think of it like a teeter-totter. If one side of the teeter-totter goes up, what happens to the other side? The other side of the teeter-totter goes down. So with regards to men's health, the higher the lycopene from diet or supplements, as that goes up, the one side of the teeter-totter, prostate problems inversely, in general, go down. So there's this nice inverse relationship. And so it's very good in helping against prostate problems and everything from benign prostatic hypertrophy. Studies have shown also in cancer, more severe forms of cancer, inflammation, and so forth. And so these are rich in vitamins A and C and just really good for the body.
Now, if I were to say lycopene like in a different way, it sounds like you need lycopene because you'd like to go peeing. Can we edit that part out?
Oh my heavens, that was a dad joke if I ever heard it.
My name is Aaron Garrity, and I support this message.
That was such a dad joke. That was one of those. It was a corny one.
A groaner, yeah.
It was a groaner.
Sorry.
So, you were just itching. Ever since I said lycopene, Dave looked like he had to go pee right now, and I realized that no, he just had a joke he wanted to tell. So we've talked about zinc, saw palmetto, African pygeum, and then this lycopene. Again, we're starting to put together this kind of wonderful team of players. Folate is another one we want to talk about. So folate is this, or folic acid, a lot of people know it, is this water-soluble B vitamin complex. Many people know about folic acid because, ladies, you've heard this continually. Research has amply demonstrated that folic acid supplementation or just folic acid is essential to prevent neural tube defects and problems with the formation of the vertebral column and healthy formation to protect the spinal cord and spinal nerves. It also, so there's the side on the female gender. On the male side, it's essential for prostate health. So folate also has this inverse relationship, this teeter-totter effect, that as folate supplementation increases, prostate health problems decrease. Now, this is either through diet or it's also through supplementation. Now, this is one that those who have done their research, those who are on the call, who are from the healthcare profession backgrounds, of the Dr. Judy's on the call, and also others who are just trying to keep yourselves educated. There's this thing back and forth about the amounts of folate, and research has demonstrated that folate supplementation is excellent in reversing prostate problems or helping to support prostate health. And some studies have demonstrated if you take overdosing of folate, then it actually increases the amount of prostate. And then another study that came out showed that actually, no, that study wasn't quite true. And then a study said, well, actually, no, you're right. And then we end up having this peeing contest back and forth in the science world about is it good or is it bad and so forth. Now, to help to try to, and it's very difficult in this case if you're formulators to figure out what is a good amount, is it's always good to kind of stay in the conservative range. Most people get some folate. We're hoping that many of you are basically eating good food and you're trying your best to keep good diet and green leafy vegetables and so forth. And so you're getting some folate. And this one that you're looking at is that if you supplement with this, you're going to keep your folate level below 1 milligram. And there's one of those magic numbers that people are looking at. If you get far above like 2 or 3 milligrams, and you could have problems. Very safe levels but levels appropriate in the research demonstrating that are helpful to support the prostate gland. And so it has other sorts of functions in the body. I won't really go into that right now. But the key to this is it helps with keep the prostate healthy. Going on my notes? Yeah, that's pretty good. So, zinc, good for you. Saw palmetto, good for you. And together, zinc and saw palmetto, Batman and Robin, really good at helping protect the prostate gland. The African Bygeum, the oil, the sterile oil from those trees in southern Africa, from the high mountains, very good also for reducing swelling and problems with the prostate gland. Lycopene, that you get a lot in carotenoid things like tomatoes, are very good inverse relationship in prostate gland, a great antioxidant. And then folate, which is this water-soluble B vitamin complex, is also inverse relationship. The more you have, the better, healthier your prostate is. You put them all together, and what do you get? The precise Men's Health formula. Okay, and so this is something that now they become these nice gel capsules. This is one that is preferred to take with food because you've got some sterols and some other agents that are probably best absorbed. But it doesn't mean you have to. It's recommended that you take it. And to be honest, one of the reasons I think it's a good idea, just personally, I just remember to take my supplements when I'm eating breakfast. That's one of the big things. So you just have a routine. That's a big thing about routine. Is just you have breakfast, you take your supplements, giddy up and go.
David, are there any issues with, and this is mostly a psychological thing, I tell myself that my poor body can't handle all those supplements at one time if I'm taking my 365 and my precise Men's Health and my precise omega-3s and my metabolic and all these. Does my body, can it really process all that stuff if I just, here's 6:45, here comes all the goodness?
Yeah, at that 6:45 in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah, your body doesn't discriminate against anything. You basically put it in your cake hole, you swallow it, it'll go down your esophagus, go into your stomach, and at that point, no matter what you put in, whether it's good or bad, your body's going to process no matter what. And the way I figure, if it's good stuff, your body can do a lot with it. You can, your body can only do with what we give it. And so if you're taking those supplements, you're fine. And if it's something that you're like, but if I swallow those, it's hard to swallow, pick them up, take some at breakfast, take some at dinner, but your body's just fine.
Awesome.
And so, gentlemen, that's basically the conclusion of this today. So be good to your prostate. It's the only one you have. And if you're not on this supplement, it's this type of stuff that you're probably going to want to consider looking at doing, to look at this and start researching and on your own some of these different ingredients. And I commend you and your goodness. And my last little bit of advice with this is supplements are only as good as your diet and your activity. And so if you have a good diet, wonderful. And if you're exercising regularly, wonderful. And the supplement is an excellent addition to this. If your diet consists of fast food and that you don't have any activity, supplements are not sufficient to help you in your life. And this is a common sense thing. I think anyone who really stops to think about it recognizes it. So this is always, any supplement, including the Men's Health, is always in conjunction with a good diet and some good activity in your life, exercise.
And you pointed out in the makeup of the supplement, these are things that you don't just get from diet. These are some great things we have to add, and that's why it's a necessary part.
Yeah, like zinc, for example, is one that you probably get, and so people who are not vegetarians, you probably get in some, if you have chicken sandwiches and things of that nature, or you have red meat, hopefully occasionally, you'll get in their diet. But even then, individuals have shown, in the amount of red meat Americans eat, 70% of Americans still are deficient in the recommended amount of zinc.
Wow.
Now, the other things, like saw palmetto, most people aren't going to say, I'm going to have granola for breakfast, a glass of orange juice, and a big hunk of saw palmetto. Most people don't have that. I think my dad probably does, but no one else in the world probably does that. Or African Bygeum. Yeah, I'm going to add that. So those are a couple of things, like lycopene, they definitely, hopefully you're getting from vegetables, especially things like tomatoes, red peppers, you get it in watermelon. But again, it's a nice, wonderful combination in this Men's Health.
Okay, awesome. David Morton, thank you for that sharing with us. We are excited to have you here with us anytime. The vocabulary today was just off the charts phenomenal. I love everything from whatever you started out with right down to cake hole. That makes for a fascinating conference call. And now we're going to turn the time over to close out the call really quickly. We're going to go to Jennifer Dean, newly promoted. Congratulations to Jennifer, new Senior Manager of Product Marketing. So Jennifer Dean, welcome to this call, and congratulations on your new role.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And you have some good information for us today, too.
Yes.
In her first act, she has waved the magic wand and has said, I'm doing this today. What are you doing, Jennifer? Let us have it.
Okay, we've got some great promotions for you, just in time for Father's Day. So the first one is our very popular Be Vigor pack. We've had this up online for a little bit, and it's doing very well. In this pack, we have included a Faveo shaker cup, Reload, and Elavive. The price is $82 with 70 PV, and that's a savings of $22. And this is available through June 17th. So pick this up just in time for Father's Day.
Yeah, you got another week and a half, and that's the Vigor pack. I mean, I'm looking at that. Yeah, shaker bottle, Reload, and Elavive. There's your Vigor. We've just packaged it up in a great pack for you.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So you can buy this online under featured products or call customer service, and the item number is 113005.
Let's do that one more time.
113005.
Awesome.
And
I'm sorry, but the call service group is pretty good at intuiting what you're looking for too. So if you can look it up and ask for that number, and they'll be thrilled to help you. But even if you don't remember the 113005, they'll figure it out. They'll get you the right things.
Exactly.
Awesome.
They're perfect. Okay, the second promotion is our Precise Men's Health 2-pack. And another perfect gift for Dad. This is available through customer service only, and it's only available for 2 days, so today and tomorrow.
That's the benefit of being on this call. You get the inside scoop on the goods that are available for a short time.
Right, and the price is $60 with 52 PV. That's a $10 savings. And the item number is 113074.
Excellent. 113074 for the Precise Men's Health 2-pack. And we heard from Dr. David Morton about the value of taking that every day. And it helps me put it together, too, because you're saying this is what you do because you don't have a store, you don't have a reserve that you're drawing from. It's what you need to have supplementing your diet every day.
Especially the zinc, yeah.
Excellent. Great point. Well, we are right now at our end time, so we give great and enormous thanks to Kelly for putting this up, getting us set up today. Jennifer, thank you for being here. David Morton, always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, David.
George Kennedy, thank you for sharing your experience at the beginning of the call, and we welcome you back to next week's call. We have, Kelly, what is on tap for next Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Mountain Time?
That's right. With Trish Allen talking about Ignite and Reload, along with Joe Morton. They'll be going over the benefits of that. Also another great promotion if you're listening. And then the week after that, June 20th, there is a special announcement about a relaunch of a product. So that's all the information I can tell you.
Jennifer, you've been busy as new Senior Manager of Product Marketing.
That's right.
Outstanding. All right, folks, thanks again for being here. Tell your friends about these calls. Let them listen in. Get everything you wanted to know but were afraid to ask about the men's prostate from today's call. And we will talk to you again next week. Have a terrific weekend, everybody, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.